Hi, welcome to Gaia's work. In this video, we're going to show you the Phoenix low dining table, how it was made. And now I am arranging and sorting the wood and picking each and every one of them in order to fit as a color and contrast. And shortly you will see me starting to do the cutting and measuring and then cutting to size the blanks so I can have the right dimensions for the materials that I choose to use for this project is black walnut, and the reason is that I did some trials before with other materials such as oak, pine, and they were not what I was needed. So I will explain to you later when the time will come why actually the reason, specific reason is that I choose the black walnut for this project. Now, as you may see, I started already to do the measuring, and what I was about to tell you, here's Gaia's work. We are dedicated to be different by design, so you will like the complexity and the originality that we do try every time to achieve. Now, as you will see, the process of building actually the whole table is a bit tedious. The reason is the lack of space. I'm using now the tape to help after when I cut to help me avoid the splinters, so the cut will be clean. Now, obviously, mm, I advise everybody, and not just advise, strongly advise them while they do work with machineries or working with wood or any other materials. Do please wear protective equipment. Especially now, I should have protective gloves. But for me, it's a routine, and I did that before, so I had no problem. Now, in meanwhile, I will tell you something about me. Now, for me, carpentry is a hobby, but I do have in the past, a long time ago, I had a wonderful person that teach me carpentry, and what I loved at his work was the extended use of traditional joinery and traditional carpentry. Each gives a long-lasting life to the job and the work that you do, especially the wood, and I love it. The results, they're always extremely beautiful. So now I already started, as you may well see, I use my plunger for drilling holes for the domino dowels is a tedious work. I wouldn't recommend it because it's very accurate. You have to be very precise in this doing this. But if you want to, there are tools on the market that they are dedicated for drilling holes for domino dowels. So my choice was this because I don't want to spend so much money having so many tools at the moment. So with I did achieve the same results with the plunger. I'm very happy with it. It's a very good tool and didn't let me down during the project, and I'm very happy with again with the result. Why I didn't mention earlier the leftovers that I have it from cutting to size the the length of the table. So the materials that they've been left over, I use them for the legs and for the seats for the coffee table, for the low dining table. Now you will see. I mean the I have another place that I'm working on the legs and the seats that you're not going to see in this video because safety reason. I don't want to encourage people to work with and do the Lichtenberg figures. That means high electricity voltage applied to wet wood, and I really don't want the people to be encouraged to do this kind of thing. Now, as you may see, now I already started with the trying the if the measurements and the holes for the diamond the dominoes are fit in place. Now I'm arranging the heavy duty clamp bars, and I'm gonna start gluing and going ahead with the joinery. Now, as you see, I take my time with the glue. I make sure the gap, the all the holes they are evenly filled with the glue. Now you will see that I'm gonna place inside the dominoes and then place them back with extra glue. So I will give enough glue, plentiful actually glue, so the wood be able to absorb and to have a better grip. Now, guys, I want to everybody to pay attention and to remember this is the most important part. If you are going to do the slightest mistake in here, you will cost you the whole project. So take your time. Take your time. Make sure that they are all nice and precisely placed. And as a trick, what I do, I uh, I put a little bit of water in a glue bottle because of all the glues now they are made for faster curing, faster drying. So by adding a little bit of water in a bottle and shake it well, when I use it, it gives me a little bit more time before it dries. So that's what you see here. Taking my time. I'm not rushing. I'm not rushing the project. Now, you see, the when you insert the and you arrange it and you fit in place the wood, the best way is to do the best you can to have it upwards. I know everybody is doing leveled, but I don't like that because the glue tends to be drawn by gravity. So we will go in one side and the top we will be uh, not with much glue. Again, this is a tip that I had it from that old experience carpenter, and he was genuine. I mean, wonderful with that trick that he teach me, and you will see. Now, all the time while you're doing the and after gluing and tidying to place the project, uh, try and do the best you can to have it clean on both sides to remove the extra glue that you will come out when you apply force to it. Now, for this project, I've been inspired. The low dining table, I was inspired by traditional Japanese dining tables, and what I didn't do, uh, the height of the table is a bit higher than Japanese standard traditional dining table. I did that because if you it gives the opportunity to the customers to have it used as a dining table, and after that they can use it as a coffee table as well too. So yeah, it can be used as a coffee table. It will be a bit low, a bit high. It will be up to you. So with the regards to the clamps, the heavy duty clamps, guys, I highly recommend you not to spare any money if when it comes to them. Don't get the low quality ones that they are bending, or because you will affect your work a lot, especially on heavy duty. Or as you may see, I use 6 planks, so it's quite you need quite force to have them joined together. Now, yeah, what I did, for example, in here I have in total 8 clamps, but I use for this time only 6 because they are plentiful, and the spread of force is e- is even. Is even, and the table came out perfect. Now, after you tidying up the clamps, you what I did in here, for example, every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I came and I keep on spin the and tied even harder the table, but in the same time making sure that the in betweens they are not going to bend the shape of the table. So every time when you work with wood and you use epoxy or glue, attend to it any any time. I mean, every so often, because you never know how the pressure will influence can be applied to it. The force that will be applied to it will influence the table. Now, as you may well seen, I started already. I finished after 2 weeks. I left it for 2 weeks to dry the table. I took out the clamps, and now the table will be ready to be sanded. I'm Now I asked my son to give me a hand to remove the excess of the glue, the drips that there were on the bottom. So what I do is mostly I care about the front one on the beginning, so they will be nice even and before it will get dry. And now my son he takes his time and removes as I said, the drips. Now I'm getting ready with my wonderful sander for sanding the all the glue that it was spread out of the on top of the table. I'm using a 280 grit, and I love this tool. Unfortunately, I can't say nothing about the tools because I'm not sponsored about for anyone. So I love the tools, but the companies I don't have anybody that they reach up to me to offer me sponsorship. I would be more than happy to recommend you the tools that I'm working with, and who knows, maybe in the future I will be able to. So I did a lot of improvisation with my work. As you see, I'm using regular Hoover. I'm not into much of professional ones at the moment. Now, you see, again, is a tedious work sanding it, but I like to take my time and to whatever I do to be perfect. You see the way I choose and handpick the wood. It it is so beautiful, so even. It looks like only two pieces or three pieces of wood put together. Now you will see slowly we will get to the finish line. And what I'm doing now, and now I'm using the router to smooth out the edges. What I forgot to tell you was that yeah, I took the time for letting it dry, more than 2 weeks, and finishing the sanding. Now, as you may well see, I finished burning the top of the table, and just a strong advice: when you burn the wood, just do it slowly. Take your time. Go spread the flame around. Don't insist on burning step by step, piece by piece. Um, Now what I'm doing, I'm spreading a bit of epoxy, clear epoxy, so I can encapsulate the ash, the burn, and I can, at the same time, I can still go on with my work. Now as you may see in the middle, I'm already in the process of carving the shape of the cherry tree blossom branch, and in the meanwhile, I'm keep adding epoxy. Now these layers of epoxy, they are made every 6-8 hours. So I didn't let it cure, but I didn't uh, keep on pouring epoxy continuously. Now, what I'm doing now, I'm filling up the cracks that they happened when I burned the table between the wood planks. So the reason is not that the table changed the shape; it's just the fire went through the cracks more, and then these gaps they came out. As you may see here, I finish filling up those cracks in between the planks, and they look a lot better. But they will look a lot better when I'm going to give the last layer of epoxy. Now the flower is already laid out, and I started nicely chiseling my way and giving the shape to the flower. Now, yeah, you can also do the same what I'm doing with rotary tool, but uh, I wouldn't advise it because the rotary tool might not do, and it's not going to do straight cuts into the wood. So what I'm doing now, I'm giving nice shape to the project. Now, from the start and to the end of the project, altogether it took me intensive work and more than a month and a half to finish it. Now you seen I with the power tool I made some deep cuts in the flowers, and now I'm putting transparent epoxy in there, and now I'm covering the after I lifted the cure the transparent one, I fill it up with red epoxy. I did that so the light will come from the bottom up, as I want it not to be too much light exposed directly. It's just where I want it to bring the light to. Now I started carving the, what's they call it, the carved painting. So as you will see now, I will fill up these cuts with epoxy, colored different colors of epoxy, contrast actually of colors, because it's just pink, red, and white, and black in the middle. Yeah. So instead to use a brush to paint, I choose to have these deep colors, so the end product to be something amazing, 3D thing. So yeah, it in the end product just surprises me too. I mean, it's fantastic. It's beautiful. Now, everybody has to know that This is my first video, and I never post anything on YouTube, but I do hope that I'm doing a good job trying to explain what I'm doing. And I do hope, and I'm counting on that will be better what I did, not what I'm talking. If you like to hear more about the details of how I made it, you're more than welcome to subscribe. If you want to share the YouTube page and help me out and spread what I do. Now I'm back to the table. I'm doing the branches. I'm cutting again, making deep cuts in the middle of them, so I can then bring transparent epoxy. So uh, all this work, I mean daily work, we try to resume it. Me and my son to as minimum as we could. So unfortunately, we couldn't make it too short. So we decided to have it split in a few episodes. The whole how was made. Now I will be more than happy to answer to any question of you guys and give you advices uh, with regards of building tables like that. If you're interested in, and to the ones that they want to buy this product, they have to know that they can the same design can be applied as a dining table, coffee table. The shape can be oval, can be you can choose the length. All what you have to do is to talk to my colleagues and let me know what you decided, and I will be more than happy to help you out with your design. And I'm working on having the dining chairs for this table, and I think in the next video I will be more than happy to show you how I made the chairs. They are just beautiful too. I mean, breathtaking. And you will see on the end of the this film, the video, that I made 4 low chairs, seats, and to match the low dining table. Now, as I said, I'm applying different contrasts of the colors to the center flowers. Is a very tedious work, and for each layer that you see me applying epoxy and then carving with the rotary tool, I had to wait a day so the epoxy will be cured and I can carve it. So yeah, it took a while to do this, but I wanted to take my time, so the end product to be perfect. And with a little bit of patience, if you wait till the end, you will see that I was right. It is a wow project. I seen earlier I applied on the branches. I applied already the transparent epoxy that will help reflect and bring the light upwards. Now, slowly, you will see everything will start coming to life. The project, the flowers, the way that I choose to carve and paint is fantastic. Now again, I apply white, pink, then try to spread them so they will blend a little bit the contrast. Now I'm moving forward towards the branches. The branches they are filled with gold color and brown. Now I'm sanding it so it will be everything level because keep on pouring the epoxy, they overlap on towards the end, not where it was carved. And you will see what I'm talking about now. Now what I'm doing is almost the last thing to add to the whole picture, which is the leaves. Now if you're wondering why I didn't do all together from the beginning, the branch, flowers and the leaves, is because the colors they would the epoxy would go and the colored epoxy would go and blend with green with red and brown gold, but like that they are all separate, and yeah, it will be like a painting. Now as you seen, I already applied the green color. Actually there were 3 tones of green and a little bit of gray, so I can give the shape, nice shape to the leaves. Now I'm doing more carving into the flowers so I can have a more beautiful mixture of the contrasts. Now applying again different tones of colored epoxy and transparent epoxy as well. So you will blend a bit and mix the contrasts.
Hi, my name is David, and I am the one behind the electronics. Throughout this video, you'll see me messing around with the cabling to try to get it to be as neat as possible and to be as ergonomic as possible as well. What I try to achieve with this electronics in this time lapse is to, one, make them look nice, two, to actually be able to see where they're going. So if the table does require maintenance or repair, which it most likely will at some point, it's not hard to untangle it or to unwire it. You just replace a couple of things and then you're done with it and move on. The other reason I wanted to make it look nice is because if we made such a gorgeous table, it would be a shame for myself to not put the same effort into the cabling of it. It would just ruin the aesthetic, even though you can't see it. So not only I, but my father and I both tried our best to put all of our heart into it to make sure this table comes out as well as we possibly can make it to be. It's not perfect, but it is gorgeous at the end of the day. It is something to look at. And the electronics aren't there just for lights. As you can see a black box at the top, that black box links up to 4 different USB ports, 2 of them being normal USB-A ports and the other 2 being 2 USB-C ports, one of them being a Thunderbolt. Which this means you can fast charge your laptop, charge your phone normally, or if your phone accepts it, fast charge your phone as well. And if you have an older device or a device that requires a USB-A, we can also use them, as you have 4 of them in total. In the bottom left, you'll see a white box. That white box has all the circuitry to allow the table to function, or at least the electronics behind the lights to function, as there are 8 lights and they're in pairs of 4. 4 of them are in the middle to light up the flowers, and 2 lights are in each leg, so 4 of them in total, which are linked together. So those control the legs. That device allows you to control to the internet. It also allows you to dim or brighten the lights, but it also allows you to turn them on separately, so you can have the legs off and the center on, and you can have the center off and the legs on, or both off or both on, whichever way you like it to have. This table, we tried to make it look good in all type of ways. So, as you heard me earlier say that this can connect to the internet, yes, it can connect to various home applications that allow you to control other electronics from like Google Home or TUYA Smart, and through those devices you can remotely control the table. Well, only the lights. We won't give you access to all of the electronics, because that one make it overcomplicated too. I mean, no use for it. Apart from just making fun of your friend when he tries to plug in his laptop. Some people would find that funny. But again, if you ever want that to happen, we can make it if you want to be that way. We won't really stop you from it. Another thing is that if, let's say, you don't want to connect to the internet, or maybe you've somehow been unable to connect to the internet, you can also turn it on manually, as at the bottom you'll have two switches. These two switches will be again connected to the white device and will allow you to control brightness and whether they are on or off. But again, both of them separately. So as you can see in this video is I took my due diligence with it. I didn't want to rush, I didn't want to make it too quick. I just wanted to make sure it came out as perfectly as possible. Well, because it can't be perfect, but I tried to make it as beautiful as possible and to make sure it worked in the first try. So I took my time with it when making it, which my father kind of got annoyed at, but it worked and it looks gorgeous, both inside and out. Now I also made sure to insulate every single piece of cable that I've worked with to make sure, one, that there's no short circuit or that anybody ever opens it, because more than likely a person will try to do some DIY repairs on it if something does happen to it. And in this case, again, we made our best efforts to keep it all nice and tidy and to make sure there's no electronic faults, or well, at least I did, to make sure there's nothing going to be anything wrong with it. So here, as you saw, it worked, and I was really happy. I was worried that it was not going to work or that something was going to burn, pop, but it worked, and I was very happy. I think now I'll pass it on to my dad, who will finish off the table.
So now we are finalizing the burning with a smaller touch for details. Now, what I didn't say that, as you may well see, the table now is in a higher position, and that's because we finished already mounting the table legs, and now for final touch, I'm working my way out in evening the burns. Now I'm going with the bigger torch because I got I finished already the detailed shapes. Small advice is do not come with heat too close to epoxy, because that will be an extremely bad thing to do. So now I'm applying again some epoxy, and I will also go and finish the rest of the table burn, as you will see shortly, and everything will end up being even and beautiful. Now the oval shapes of different contrast of burning, I choose that because of to maintain the phoenix concept. So what I wanted to do is to have the flowers look like they are risen from ashes, and like coming out to surface. Now I forgot to tell you, as you may well see on the end, if you rather have the natural wood with the flower, you are more than welcome to let us know. Although we insist in keeping this design, because as you will see in the end, is gorgeous, is breathtaking table. Now, in order to spread the epoxy, I'm using the heat gun, because I didn't want the finish to be too glossy. Now I'm spreading and I'm removing the epoxy excess. So when you actually going to touch the table, you will feel the gaps that the charcoal has on top, but not too deep. It's beautiful. Now, as you will see, if you remember earlier on, I was telling you the last finish, the last touch of epoxy, and the finish it will make the table look fantastic. Now in here I'm using an wax that actually it gives that burn a wooden texture. It's not going to be glossy feel like the rest of the table. Now if you have any suggestions or questions, as I said earlier, you're more than welcome to subscribe to Gaia's Work channel or Facebook or Pinterest, and let us know your thoughts. I will be more than happy to answer to any questions that you might have or suggestions. And now we are coming to a close, and I'm looking forward to show you the other two parts of the how was made Phoenix low dining table.